Sorry for the delay. I have to make everything truly official before we can talk about it. But I would like to report that they are doing a great job of moving dirt at the baseball complexes on their new facility. You know, I look out my window, it's really quite impressive. That's what I did instead of enjoying talking to you guys so much. So it's that process, I think, is on time and looks like it's going to be a pretty impressive site. But anyway, good day for Illini basketball. We're excited to announce a couple guys that we've had targeted as part of our recruiting process that has gone on, and RJ Melendez. It'll start with RJ. One of the things that we set out to do in this class was continue to add size, shooting, length, and athleticism on our perimeter spots, and it is we've succeeded. Again, a big congratulations to our staff on a job well done of not just identifying, but getting guys that fit everything that we're about. RJ is a young man, 6'7", I don't know, 195, 200 pounds, that is still continuing to grow. He has tremendous length, extreme athleticism, and is a terrific shooter. He's a guy that is very good on the defensive end with that length. He's a unique shot blocker in terms of because of his length and his quick twitch. He is a very, very high IQ player. Can play multiple positions, really anywhere on the perimeter, which is, as you guys know, we play 4 perimeter guys a lot, and can make a splash there. And Brandon Podziemski is a young man from Wisconsin, an elite scorer. And I will say this, both of these guys have scored over 2,000 points in 3 years in their career. Brandon is a guy that can play multiple positions. He's left-handed. He's an elite shooter, and scores it off the bounce, scores it off the catch. He's got great range. Both these young men have tremendous work ethic, and that's what excited us about them. And I look forward to being able to coach each one of them. Brandon is a guy that can play on the ball. He's very crafty with the ball. He's got great size and physicality about him already. Both are guys who excel in the classroom, and they fit the University of Illinois model, and we're excited to have them joining our program. The last piece that we'll announce today is Omar Payne. Omar is a transfer from Florida. We got his financial aid tender in, and a guy that is we knew from the circuit, was at Florida, has tremendous athleticism, tremendous length. He's got a 7'5" wingspan. His athleticism is second to none. He's an elite. He's been elite in pick and rolls, pick and pops. He's got great touch out to 17 feet. A guy that I love his versatility. His shot blocking is something that we can always use. And so I'm excited about him. He's got a lot of experience under his belt, and again, a guy that's we're excited about in terms of being able to step in here and go right away. So a great day for us, and we're excited about what each one of these young men bring to our program, and not just next year, but for years beyond.
Hey, Brad, I'll start us off. Speaking of Omar, I know, getting him seems like a big deal for you guys to lock up a big man here. How were you able to talk to him, or what were the conversations with him about Kofi, kind of not knowing about him, but what does Omar mean that you kind of got him in early in this process before Kofi makes a decision?
Yeah, I mean, he's a young man that was involved in the portal and Orlando, um, had recruited him, had some connections. Obviously, Kofi's success was something that you know other big guys follow and see how he was utilized and what we did. And he's a guy that that fits, and he's got some skill sets that we really like in terms of being able to pick and pop and to short roll and quick twitch athlete. So uh, yeah, Jeremy. I mean, he's a guy that we love, and he gives us he continues with that elite rim running ability, and yet I think a guy that is very, very versatile at this point in his career.
What does he give you defensively that's different than Kofi, especially I would imagine out on the perimeter?
Yeah, he's a quick twitch. He's a guy that, and I mean, Kofi's an elite athlete, and he's just different. And Kofi's 300 pounds, and Omar's not. And he's a very quick twitch. He's got just that wiry strength and length. You just very few guys have a 7'5" wingspan. And when you add that quick twitch athleticism, you're talking about a guy who can react quickly. He can move. He's got very good hands, and he's got very, very good timing. I mean, he's already a very, very accomplished shot blocker.
And I just want to follow up with one more. I know he had that flagrant foul. Was that a big thing that you had to look into or approach with him? Because obviously a lot of people.
No, I think it's the heat of the competition, and things happen, and it's that's beyond him, and we're excited to have him as part of our Illini family.
Thanks, Brad.
Coach, you've done probably 9 or 10 of these signing day press conferences now, both fall and spring. I ran the numbers, and it's 4 players overall that have signed in the fall, and now 21 signing in the spring. What can we read into that? Do you prefer to wait and wait and wait, or is there anything to that?
I don't think there's much into it. I think that I think it's the changing of the culture that we're seeing within the recruiting game. I think more people are waiting as more people. We're in a new world with the transfer portal, obviously, but I think as athletes at the highest levels have waited to see who's gone to the draft, who's stayed, who's gone. But I also think, Robert, it's very much a testament to the way we try to do things. We got to make sure they're the right fit and they're the right guys. And I keep saying it, character over characters. We hit a home run with this group, and guys who work hard, and guys who they happen to wait till late, but guys that we've been recruiting. And we can't always control when athletes want to sign, but again, it's for us, it's not when, or it's not what time they do it. It's who they are and how they fit us.
And so with guys like Melendez and Podziemski, both, I know you don't pay attention to rankings, but both of these guys are guys who have shot up the rankings as seniors, or maybe late bloomers, just got a lot of interest their senior year. Is there anything?
I lost you on the backside of that, Robert, but I think I know where you were going. I think the one thing that should speak volumes is how good our staff is at evaluating players and not really getting too wrapped up in where a guy's ranked. And we knew what we were looking for. We've had some purpose with this class in terms of knowing we needed to get better in some areas, and in terms of adding size and shooting and You throw, Luke Goody in that mix from the fall, and job well done by our staff in terms of identifying and actually getting guys that are excellent players and fit us.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, to play off of what you just said there with the mission to get more length, more shot making on the perimeter, what did you see as you kind of went into this class that made that a priority and made that a big part of the mission?
Well, I think as you go through it, and obviously we were 1 seed and we had some things, but I think as you look down the line, knowing that Kofi's not going to be here forever, Kofi can cover some ills and some weaknesses maybe, and I say weaknesses, but he made up for some things. And when you face guys in our league traditionally has big wings, and you look at the loss of potentially of DeMonte Williams at some point. DeMonte's so strong and so long. He's able to get away with guarding size. So when we started 2 years ago, we didn't know if seniors would be asked back or be able to come back. And so we knew that we had to identify getting bigger on the perimeter, and you guys that rebound it, guys that could shoot it. And these guys fit the bill.
And overall, what do a collection of lengthy shot makers around Curbelo do for you guys?
A lot of good options, a lot of really good options. Space, when you've got an elite guard, and I really believe this. I think Dre will be one of the best point guards in the country, if not the best. Pick your poison, and he got to the paint most anytime he wanted this year anyway. And we've been very good with our rollers as well. So now you've got to really pick your poison, and all these guys are very capable shooters and above, way above average shooters. These guys are good.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Brad. I guess the way the portal has evolved over the last couple of years, do you see these type of signing day press conferences as being, is it going to be something that keeps happening, or does, high school recruiting change that much where it's maybe not as prevalent?
I think it's to be determined. I think that, we're not going to see these type of, I think we'll probably approach 1,500 plus in the portal. You start, doing the math, it's 5 per team. Obviously with the seniors this year, these numbers won't continue that high. So that, I still love high school kids. I love the development of them, and we've got the best strength coach in the country. Our staff does an unbelievable job of getting guys better. Look at Io DeSumu's improvements in his 3 years, and so it's about that. It's about guys that fit and they're hardworking guys, and I think that it just opens up. I use the term. It's really you've got to look at every item on the menu today, and I don't know what that'll look like eventually, but we're not going to quit recruiting high school players and freshmen. I believe in them, and yet there's obviously a new menu item out there that you've got to pay attention to as well.
You've talked several times about liking to put together different pieces and maybe not having a lot overlap in skill or position. Just you've got 3 wings, including Luke, that are all maybe a little similar position wise. Well, where's the differences where you can maybe combine them in different ways?
They're different. They're very different, and I think that we'll see when it is, but you'll see all 3 of those guys on the floor together. And I think when you start looking at guys, and until you get them out there and coach them on the defensive side, but you know, you've got an elite athlete in RJ. Luke is a guy that catches shots and catches balls and doesn't have to be squared up. And you know, he's got great size and a really quick release. Brandon is a guy that can play anywhere, really 1 through 3, because he's so crafty with the ball. And they all have the ability to come off screens. So I love that. I love their versatility, but their makeup is different athletically and physically. And yeah, it's we hit a home run. Our guys were batting 1,000 in terms of finding different pieces that that all have the one thing in common: size and ability to shoot and high IQ when it comes to the game of basketball.
Thank you.
Hey, Brad, if my calendar is correct, I think these 3 were all virtual recruitments, if not 90% virtual for these guys. What did you guys learn about yourselves as a staff as we kind of hopefully approach the end of this all virtual kind of way of going here?
You know, I think it was, you know, we saw Luke a lot. So, you know, I don't want to exclude Luke, but I think the one thing that is a challenge. I mean, we watch a lot of, we see their games, they're streaming. That's a different deal. I think our guys did an unbelievable job of digging in, finding out about their character, finding out about you know, who they are as people, as teammates. You know, there's probably more intensive work on the phone, trying to figure all those things out. But you know, and again, there are guys that we have seen, we just hadn't seen recently, and so we had a really good idea going in, and even though this year was a lot of COVID related Zooms and conversations, we had a really good idea with this class of what their traits were. We just had to go about it a little bit differently for this year.
I guess what makes your staff able to make those connections over the phone or over Zoom? I mean, it's obviously so different than seeing each other face to face.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's a lot of connections. I mean, you know, these guys all know people. It's the business. It's the relationships that happen over the course of, you know, 5, 10, 15 years that allow you to get involved with guys. And you know, the success of our program, the remodeling of State Farm Center, the future plans of Ubben, being a 1 seed, winning 19 games against Big Ten teams, all those things become factors that allow you to get guys like this. And so it's a great staff doing their job and knowing people, and then, you know, a lot of the other positive things, you know, flowing with it.
Thanks, Brad.
Brad, I asked this because Brandon was, when he enrolled at St. John's, was 6'3", 160 pounds as a 10th grader. Is he done growing in a sense of, do you see him physically developing even more once you get him here?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything's possible. I think that, you know, I love the thought of all of these guys getting with Fletch and seeing what they're going to look like just at the end of the summer. You know, it's remarkable the job that he does, and I think each of these guys become better basketball players because they become better athletes, and they become more dialed in with their bodies and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I don't have a great answer to that. You know, I think he's, you know, pushing 6'6", and, you know, so that's, if he grows, great. If he's 6'6", he's still a really, really good and gifted scorer.
And my follow-up is, you know, his senior year at St. John's, he takes over at point guard. You know, what were your impressions of how he handled that this year, and how it helped develop his game?
Yeah, he's such a high IQ player. I mean, you know, not only does he score, I mean, he averaged 35, 36 a game, but, you know, he sets a table, you know, for so many others. And, you know, his IQ feels tremendous. I think anytime you have to play that position, your passing, your innate ability just to have to make passes and initiate offense makes you think a little bit different. So he's grown in all those ways. But, you know, he's he's wired to score and shoot. And I mean, he's a guy that has an ability to do that at a very high level, but he's got great feel as well.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Coach, good afternoon. You spoke a little bit about Omar Payne earlier and his athleticism and his ability to kind of step out on the perimeter and do different things along those lines. Kofi certainly doesn't lack that athleticism, but he's definitely handcuffed in that area a little bit. How important is it to have a big that can kind of step out of the paint a little bit and on the defensive end and do those different things on a consistent level?
Yeah, and there's goes back to what I've said earlier. I mean, the versatility to be able to have guys that can do different things stresses the other team, and it's Kofi's the elite player in college basketball at what he does, and it's not even close. And and Omar gives you a different ability. He's still an elite roller. He's an elite lob catcher because of that athleticism and that length, and we'll utilize him in some of those things. Because he's a quick twitch athlete, sure, he can go out and probably guard any of 5 positions. If we have to switch, if we have to do those things, and he does it for a sustained period of time. So, they're just completely different type of player, and they're both very, very good at what they do. And Kofi's the dominant center in college basketball. There's no doubt about that.
On the other side, offensively speaking, he only had a few jump shots this year. Is that an area of his game that you guys really want to try and develop and expand in his time on campus here?
Absolutely. Again, and that's something that we're excited about is, his ability to short roll, and it's a different way to attack certain ball screen coverages. You can you can do some things with him, and out of those short rolls, out of pops and dribble handoffs. And again, it's all about being able to be versatile and force the defense to have to do different things. And Omar provides a lot of that.
And if I could get one quick follow-up on Brandon, you were asked about his strength and I guess his size. Being at a military academy, have you ever had a kid that comes in with that kind of natural strength that he's going to have? And how much different maybe is that for Fletch working with someone with so much natural strength just coming in?
Yeah, I mean, and I think everybody's body's different. I think that, Fletch is unbelievable at personalizing everybody's, some guys need, Kofi, for instance, I mean, he didn't need weight gain. He needed weight loss and a trim, and some people need weight gain. Some people need to maintain, some people just naturally with the nutrition factor, and all of those guys become leaner and they become better athletes. And then Fletch is going to continue to get them strong, and they're going to be in elite shape. So, I'll leave that up to him to figure all that out, because he's the expert with it.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Coach, is there a significance to getting guys like Podziemski and Goody from, Wisconsin and Indiana, and sort of, taking recruits out of states that have other, Big Ten flagship schools? I mean, is that kind of a goal there?
It's not a goal. I think the one thing we're just trying to do is identify guys, and I've said it many times, I don't care where they come from. Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio. If we've got the right connection and we feel that they fit, Marley, we're going to recruit them. And our guys have got connections in those states, and University of Illinois has got a tremendous amount to sell and be proud of, and on not just the athletic side, but the academic side, and it makes it a great fit. So, it's it's something we don't set out to do, but it works, and those, everybody comes in Illinois and has the ability to recruit because there's a lot of good players. So, we don't set out to do that. It just was very coincidental.
All right, thank you.
Brad, how difficult of an offseason has this been for a coaching staff with people going to the draft, people maybe coming back for a super senior year, the transfer portal, recruits. I mean, how difficult has it been to manage all of that into a roster come the fall?
The good thing is we're still really early, and really, it's juggling balls, and it's never stopped. It's probably much more intense than maybe it's not. I mean, it's used to be back in the day, you'd sign 2 or 3 in the fall and you knew your team and you were done. And it's much intense that way. I mean, we're very dialed into the portal every day. We're very dialed into, what's going on out there, in the world around us, with transfers. But again, we've got a job to do. It is what it is. We've adapted. And at some point we'll get some time away, but it's not right now.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, I just had a quick follow-up. I'd kind of like to go back to maybe the first time you've seen some of these guys. Do you remember the first time you saw RJ or Brandon? I guess maybe the qualifier has to be in person or on tape here.
Well, it would be hard for me to pinpoint them. Exactly. You see so many kids back when we could go out. I saw, it's a great question. I'd have to think about that. Let me think about that one a little bit, Joey, when I saw him. I mean, and what I saw Brandon a year ago when we were out, at least, I saw RJ on the circuit. So, it's been at least a year, so year and a half. I don't know the exact dates or months when it was spring or summer. That's beyond my comprehension, Joey.
All right. Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, I just want to ask, what is the process Kofi's going through right now? Because I guess most of us just assumed he put his name into the draft, go through the process. What are the conversations you're having, or what's the process he's going through?
Yeah, I think we're all still waiting to see. We don't know what the NBA workout schedule is going to look like. We don't know what if they're going to have those. We don't know what the vaccination policies are. We're trying to get everybody to understand what that's like, and yet just continue to work and put in his time with Fletch and stay in shape. And but again, there's still a little bit of uncertainty. Certain dates have been set, but what the actual process is for workouts and how they're going to do those, and the combine, because it'll be the same type stuff, Jeremy. It'll be about just gathering as much information, and then if they do have workouts, when they are, and going through that process this year, which we didn't do last year.
How did going through it a bit last year? I know it was so weird, but how has he kind of approached this? How have you kind of seen him approach this?
Yeah, I think very, very much the same way. I think he's trying to figure out and just gather as much information as he can and see what the new set of data that people have with another 31 games under his belt, how that plays out. So, beyond that, it's just kind of a wait and see mode.
Thanks, Brad.
Brad, quickly about Omar Payne, is what's been the conversations like in his transfer portal recruiting? Specifically, have you guys had frank conversations about him playing a secondary role behind Kofi if he comes back, and what his role would be if that were to be the case, or is that not really part of the process?
We've talked to him about becoming the best player he can be, and growing his game, and he fits what we do. All that would be a bunch of speculation that we don't know anything about. We're trying to get him to become the best player he can be, and he fits exactly what we do. And we've had great conversations with him, and he's a very, very talented young guy who's got next level aspirations, and deservedly so.
Coach, I don't know if you saw Coleman Hawkins tweeted that I think he called himself a head recruiter or something like that on Twitter. Any comments on that?
But that's one of the hardest things we have in today's that we miss out on. With when you don't have campus visits. I had seen that because I don't do social media, but it's one of our best asset is our players, and we don't do official visits, and so they don't get to hang around to our players. And yet one of the great things about AAU basketball is they all get to know each other. They all play against each other. They've known each other since they were 9th, 10th graders, and so they communicate all the time. And Coleman's very social young guy, and that the fact that they're promoting our program speaks volumes.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Monday's celebration at the football game where you're being honored at halftime. What do you think that moment's going to be like for the fans and for your team as well? Very
much deserved, both for the players and our fans. The one thing on it, I've said it. It was sad that our COVID happened and our fans didn't get to enjoy this team. Seeing everybody at the Big Ten tournament. And getting to feel just a little bit of that vibe, bless you, Marley, was really cool. I mean, that was a cool vibe, and this team had so much passion and charisma, and we didn't get to do that. And yet, here's a group of guys that won 19 games against Big Ten opponents in the best league in the history of college basketball. And a lot of these guys were a part of 2 straight years of the most wins in the Big Ten, and the 2 years that this has been the best league ever, and the best it's ever been. And so I'm excited for those guys and to feel that love and to feel that. And we didn't maybe get to feel that emotionally this year because the fans weren't there. So I'm excited for our guys to be able to feel that. And I'm excited for our fans to just get a little feel and for this team. And again, we're so appreciative. We've got the best fans in the country. So I'm extremely appreciative of that.
Do you expect everyone to be on campus for that celebration, or do you not know that yet?
To this point, yes. Thank you.
Wait, Brad,
Yep.
I got just one thing. Is there anybody from last year's team that you're currently recruiting to be on next year's team?
All of them.
So is Georgie not necessarily done?
No, I think Georgie is going to. I think he's going to move on and look at the professional level for circumstances that are best for him, and so he's going through that process as we speak. But he's an Illini through and through, and we're extremely appreciative of Georgie and all his accomplishments and what he's brought to our team. And this will always be his home, and he'll continue to play basketball for as long as he wants to play, and whether it's in this country or abroad.